Hello guys and welcome back to Minecraft Minuet. First thing we're going to do today is a little bit of housekeeping stuff. So, going past over, my older videos and getting some feedback from some of you guys, I realized that the audio on my videos is not very good. So the first thing we're going to do, if we can get our fingers to work correctly, is we're going to go to our video settings, not our video settings. We're going to go to our music and sound settings, and we're actually going to turn down our volume quite a bit. So last time we turned down hostile creatures, but we left music up and we left, ambient environment up and a few other things. And unfortunately, it's just too loud. It drowns out a lot of what I'm saying sometimes, or the audio kind of shifts itself so that you can barely hear me, but you can hear everything going on in the game. So I'm going to turn everything down to 25. I'm going to bring hostile creatures back up to 50 at least. And we'll see how this works this time. Actually, we'll take it down to 20. So hopefully this fixes some of our audio issues. If it doesn't, then we'll have to do something else. But for now, that is the easiest solution. If it doesn't work, then what we'll do is we'll try to find some type of software that allows me to record the audio separately, and then that way I can look at the two different audio streams and make it a little bit easier for me to separate the two and dim one or raise it up as needed. So hopefully this works, but if it doesn't, like I said, we can do other things to try to fix the audio, but hopefully this works. The other thing I did to fix the audio is I moved the birds out of the room. So my birds are currently chilling in another room of my house. They will chill there until I am done recording and probably until I'm done editing. That way that they're just not making a ton of noise in the background. And I don't have to worry about trying to dim them out when they start screeching or cutting them out so that you can hear me talking or figure out what's going on in the game. So today what we're going to do is we're going to try to find some of the newer animals that are supposed to be present in this little mini update of Minecraft. So included in this little update, and the caves and the cliffs aren't really changed that much except for we got some new materials. There are some animals that have been added to the game, mainly the goat and the axolotl. So we're gonna try to find both an axolotl today and a goat. I feel like we should go after the goat first because once we get trapped in the caves, we may not make it back out. So we're gonna go try to find some elevation and find us a goat. I do have, I think, some leads down here, and we'll just go try to find one real quick. And then when we come back, we'll try to find us a goat. I mean, not a goat, an axolotl. Wow. Okay, maybe I don't have any leads. Oh no, I do. Perfect. I got these legitimately. I found a slime. I killed said slime, and then I made these leads. I don't usually make leads, but beggars can't be choosers, and I needed a lead for this adventure. I am gonna go ahead and sleep as soon as it gets dark, so we'll just play around here for a little bit until it's time to go, because I don't want to be running around in the dark necessarily. If you look here, by killing zombies, I did get some potatoes and carrots. I don't know if I mentioned that in last video, but there you have it. I do have some. So we'll actually go in here. Well, we still have a tiny bit of daylight left, and we'll harvest some potatoes, because that way we can continue growing our potatoes. Eventually, this is, if you've watched any of the other episodes, my preferred food of choice, so to speak. I do think they are a little bit better than bread just because they're easier to get. Plus they have the added benefit of when you roast them up, you get a little bit of XP. So why wouldn't I favor the potato? But for right now, we'll continue eating bread until we have enough potatoes to not only finish doing every third row in here, but also to have a stack or two on us as jacketed potatoes. The other thing that should be super exciting for today is that we are going to have a speaking topic today. Yay! You guys are so happy that we're going to have a speaking topic. I'm sure, I'm positive that that was something that you were desperately waiting for. So, to go along with our kind of search for animals topic today, we are going to be talking about, you guessed it, pets. And we'll talk about their impact on our lives, how they help us, how they hurt us, if at all, what their roles are in society, you know, all those kinds of things. And then we will have to talk a little bit about some sad things, including like, I don't know, that's a quote. Ah, God. Creepers, they are the worst. The absolute worst. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna go sleep first, because otherwise the same thing's gonna just keep happening. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about pets, mainly cats and dogs, but we will touch on some pocket pets and things like that. Oh yeah, you guys probably haven't seen this yet, but I did renovate this. But let's sleep first, and then we'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll talk about pets. Like I said, mainly cats and dogs, because they're the two most common pets here in the United States. But we will talk about, you know, kind of outdoor pets, such as people have horses and goats and things that they consider pets, and also pigs. And then pocket pets like hamsters and guinea pigs and ferrets, mice and rats, those kinds of things that people really... Okay. Cool. Well, I hated every second of that. I don't know about you, but that sucked. I hate creepers so much. If there was a way to keep everything else the same and just take away the creepers, I would. I know there probably is. There's a modded Minecraft out there where creepers don't exist and everything's great and awesome and wonderful, but I just need to stop being a baby and remember that my shield exists and that I can use said shield to protect myself from creepers. I wouldn't have died if I just put my shield up. But no. In my mind, in Ripa's mind, shields don't exist until it's way too late. And then you've already been blowed up by a creeper. Okay, well, let's stop whining about it. I need to go get some dirt and craft a new fence post so that we can fix all the damage that was done. Thankfully, we should have plenty of dirt. We don't. We have a little bit. We have a little bit of dirt. Let's see. We need probably some fences and some fence posts. So we're gonna mix fence post colors. Sounds great. And that. And let's go. This is why I didn't want to wander around at nighttime. So let's fix this real quick. We're gonna need new gear before we set out too. New clothing. Guess we can fill up this bottom part with cobble, that way we can save some dirt, since we don't seem to have a lot of it somehow. By the way, if you're ever playing in a Minecraft world and the creeper explodes, you should spend a few minutes doing exactly what I'm doing. Fill in the creeper hole. Do not leave it for someone else to fill in. Do not say it's not a big deal and don't fill it in, because it is a big deal. You should always fill in your creeper holes. Try to make the landscape look as natural as possible before the creeper blew it up. It's just annoying, folks. Just straight up. It's actually quite rude. So just fill in your creeper holes. Trust me, everyone will appreciate you more as a decent human being if you do that. Also, replant your trees. Be eco-friendly. Do it. It's good for the soul. Okay, we got a few more pieces of dirt. So anyways, yeah, basically as far as animals go, statistics wise, you know me, I like to look up some statistics on the internet before I talk to you guys. When we look up the statistics for pets in households in the United States, they estimated for last year that 67% of US households have one or more pets. That's about 85 million pets in a household in the United States. That's pretty decent. You'd think that's quite a lot of animals. That's got to be like most of them, right? Nah, fam, not even close. So they also estimated that 89.7 million dogs are currently residing in the United States, and there are about 68.9 million cats. I don't think this estimate is accurate by far. I think it's pretty far off. If you ask me, I think there are a lot more cats. Let me just say I think there are a lot more cats. My math isn't going to be like perfect or anything, but if I think of just all the cat hoarders that I know, there are a lot more cats. And the number of cats that you see out on the streets is usually higher than the number of dogs you see out on the streets. So I don't know, maybe they have better math and like logistical things than I can think of, but I honestly think there's way more animals out there than are included under that estimate. I could be wrong. Like I said before and will say again, I have been wrong in the past and will be wrong in the future. That's 100% guaranteed. But when you think of stray cats and the number of cats that just aren't recorded, with people just allowing them to breed in their homes and having way too many of them, I think there are a lot more cats than are recorded there. And I think that there's probably a lot more dogs too. For the same reasons, people have more animals than what they report or talk about. And there's probably a lot more stray animals than we realize. They estimate that on this website, the same one that I got the other statistics from, that there are roughly 70 million stray animals on the streets at any one given time in the United States of America. So if you add up the 85 million and the 70 million, and then take a look at them, you should get roughly 89.7 and 68.9, which you do. So their statistics match up with each other at least, which is nice. So when you're talking about that many animals and how they fit into daily life for people in the United States and in other countries, they serve a lot of purposes. When I think of my pets alone, they provide me with a lot of happiness. They alleviate a ton of boredom. They keep me active. They keep me on my toes as far as thinking goes and things like that. So I definitely think that in the everyday life of people, they serve a great number of purposes, and they're just great to have around. Now, I'm definitely an animal person. I spent a good portion of my life just working with animals. Specifically, I was a vet tech for quite a few years. I was a vet tech on and off since I was 13. So I'm 25 now. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 7 years. 7? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 13. Wow. I'm really bad at keeping track of numbers, even if I just said them. So about on and off for 13 years, I was a veterinary technician. This means that I have a pretty good knowledge of what it costs to own a pet in the United States, what the common ailments for pets are, and what jobs a lot of pets have. I also have a few degrees, college degrees for whatever they're worth, in animal sciences. So I have a little bit of that going on too. So I'm definitely an animal person. Not only do I like studying animals and knowing things about them, but I actually own quite a few as well. So I'm one of those people that I'm talking about that contributes to probably those greater numbers, because there's definitely nowhere that I record how many pets I have. They're not considered dependents on the census, and I haven't filled out any surveys recently on how many pets I own, so I don't know how they're categorizing the number of pets I have, and we have quite a few. And that's kind of what I'm talking about is when they take a survey, if any of you have taken a statistics class or two, you know that they take a random slice of the population and they ask them a bunch of questions. Now, this random slice of the population is supposed to be representative, meaning that it should account for all the different types of situations and people and places that the slice of life is being taken from. This is not always the truth. A lot of times, when they do these surveys, they are only catching a part of the population that is going to answer a survey that feels like they have the time to, or feels like they feel the responsibility to. And those people are not always representative of the population as a whole. It's the truth. There's not much we can do about it. So when we're talking about surveys, they may or may not accurately represent the population, which is a bummer. We wish they would, because then we'd be able to answer a lot more questions about civilization as a whole. And I would love it if they did, because then this would be a more concise video. End of story. But because they don't, I think that the numbers that were on this website that I was looking at are a little bit under what they should be. And therefore, I think there's a lot more pets out there that fall under all the categories that we're going to be talking about today, basically. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and we're going to go play with our spyglass in a second. After we get our inventory sorted after the creeper blew us up. I have like 0 levels right now too, which is really, that's the worst part. The worst part is we have almost no levels. Do we have... Yeah, we do. We're actually going to go grab some wool real quick because I want to have a bed so that when we travel, if we have to go a really far distance, we have a bed so that we don't have to worry about sleeping and dying and all that stuff. No more creepers for me today, please. I don't really need this right now. I don't need this right now. I do need this. I don't need this. I don't even know how most of this stuff got in my inventory, to be honest. I don't need that. I do need this. This. Do I even have a bow on me? No, but we can make one real quick. I don't know where our bow went. I did have one. But we're going to go collect some wool right now from some sheepies so that we can take a bed with us. And then we'll come back and look at our bedroom real quick before we head out, because we're going to have to sleep one more time, and that way I can let you know what I did. There's some sheep over here that we're just going to grab some wool from. We do have one in our chest, so we only need 2 more. Oh, there we go. Perfect. We'll just collect this guy too since we're over here. So, since I know so much about animals and I have quite a few, you might be wondering the quintessential question that anyone asks anyone who has pets, which I currently find to be one of the most annoying questions on the planet, but I'll answer it for you anyways. Am I a dog or a cat person? Yep, that's the question. I get asked that question more than pretty much any other question related to pets, and that's gotta be the most ridiculous thing I've heard, but it's true. And the answer is neither. I like both cats and dogs. I think they serve different purposes for me as an individual, and therefore I cannot pick between the two. Dogs for me usually allow for more like social interactions and things like that, whereas cats are, for me, usually more chill, kind of stay at home animals. Although my one cat that I had recently, Loki, he is more of a dog cat, meaning that, I could pretty much take him anywhere and do anything with him. I had him harness trained, and he loves being outside. He actually prefers it to being inside. So he's definitely an exception to that, of course. But there are always exceptions to the rules. And we'll go over that with a bunch of other things, I'm sure. Um, so he's very much a cat that you could take anywhere, do anything with kind of animal, which I appreciate um, in him and love him for his own special qualities. And I think that's what I mean by I'm neither a cat or dog person, because I take each and every animal for what they offer me. So if an animal is very outgoing and fits into my life really easily and is easily trained and those kinds of things, those are going to be the kind of animals that I like. Animals that fit into my life fairly easily, meaning that they're fairly independent. They don't need me every second of every day. They are very smart and easily trained or worked with. And, ones that don't have too many issues, like health issues, because goodness knows I am not the richest person on the planet. I barely have 2 cents to my name to rub together. So, a low maintenance animal is the best animal. And that means that as far as dog goes, I try to stay away from breeds that have problems, including brachiocephalic breeds, dogs with long backs, dogs with bad teeth. And these are not, there's no hard fast rule. There's some animals with long backs, dachshunds that live to be 23 years old and never have a back issue in their life, but the majority of dachshunds are going to have back issues. So I'm going to try to stay away from them if I can. Now, if one falls into my lap, it's going to live in my house, okay? There's no sending something away if it desperately needs a home. That's just not something me or my family is capable of doing. Right now, we're going to set out on our way to find our first billy goat, and we may or may not cut out all of this travel time, in which case I will iterate all the stuff that I'm saying over again in a few minutes. But yeah, if an animal falls into my lap and it needs help, like one of my current dogs, and it happens to have a ton of health issues, I'm not going to turn it away. I'm going to do my very best to keep that animal as healthy as possible and give it the best possible life that it can have up until the day it dies. And that doesn't matter whether that pet is a cat, dog, guinea pig. I'd have to say no to a horse just because I don't have space for it, but you get my gist. If it's something that can fit in my house reasonably, or, I can provide all of the things it needs reasonably, then I'm going to probably try my best to take care of that animal in whatever way I can. So I really don't have any preferences. There are a few animals that I don't particularly like and would never own. An animal that is willing to bite me without provocation, that is not the type of animal that I can live with. I don't mind working with an animal that has been traumatized or something like that for a while to try to see whether I can help it get over that. That's fine. But animals that are completely unpredictable, whether they've been damaged like that by people before or have always been like that, those kind of animals are not ones that I could personally live with. Would I try my hardest to find them a home with someone that they weren't willing to bite? Yes. Um, but my fear would always be that they are willing to bite anybody. So those type of animals are a little bit hard for me to justify living with. Um, but I do think that animals have a very good capacity for learning, and most of them don't behave in that way. So that's basically the only animal that I wouldn't personally want to live with, is one that just can't be trained, is either too broken by past experience or just was never fully there in the first place. I've probably met two of these animals in my entire life, and I've worked with a lot of animals. So if they don't have that trait, then they're probably good in my book, meaning that the tables are open for me. I'm not a dog or a cat person. If anything, I'm an everything person. So, with that out of the way, we can go on to our next topic, which is, what do pets do for us? And the answer is a hell of a lot. Pets are one of the easiest ways that people can improve their life without having to do a whole lot else, as long as they have time for the pet and know how to take care of it and isn't adding too much stress to their life. So, one of the websites that I went to listed a few things that pets bring to the average homeowner's life. Um, Benefits of pets include decreased blood pressure. So, pet owners had a lower instance of high blood pressure or hypertension than those people who did not have pets. Um, People that had more than one pet saw more um, reduction in blood pressure than those that had just one. So not only are pets good for your health as far as they lower blood pressure, but they do it, in multiples. So if you have more than one, you have more than one um, multiple of good health, I guess. It's not exponential, because that's what I did want to say. I don't know what the actual statistic is as far as um, how much they help your blood pressure. The next thing listed on the list is they can help lower cholesterol. So owning a dog or cat can help you lower your cholesterol and prevent things like plaques and buildups in your arteries, which overall helps your health, just like having low blood pressure does. So that's a good thing. Having pets um, decreases fatty acids like triglycerols, which is another indicator of heart health. So again, all good things. And these are all just from owning a pet. It's nothing like, these aren't people that own a pet and do stuff with them. That wasn't specified. It's just people who own a pet. So going out and getting a pet has helped them with these certain things, which is just fantastic. Those are some of the physical things that pets do for us. They also increase dopamine, epinephrine, and other happy chemicals in the brain that make people feel overall better. Less lonely, less deprived of attention. They just make people feel overall happier with their lives just from being around, which I think is amazing. People are constantly looking for, I don't know, ways to feel better. Anyone who's been a little bit depressed or, you know, doesn't feel like they have purpose in life, a lot of times an animal can bring that purpose to their life. If you're like me and you're feeling depressed and you already have 12 animals, this isn't for you. But if you don't have any pets and, you're still I would say, well-adjusted adult who thinks that they may be able to handle the responsibility of a pet, getting a pet may add a little bit of purpose, um, responsibility, and just overall happiness to your life that wasn't there before. And these are some pretty hefty claims, but it's been proven over and over again that that's what animals do for us. And I think that that's pretty dang amazing. There isn't much else out there besides exercise that can do all of those things for you. And whereas exercise is hard, having a puppy is not as hard. Along with those kind of non-tangible things that we can't measure as individuals anyways, unless you're going to the doctor regularly, pets also provide for us an ability to be more active. So like if you have a dog and you have to walk that dog 4 or 5 times a day for 5 to 10 minutes a day, you've gotten quite a bit of activity points for the day, let's say. And that's great. The more active you are, it helps with all those things that we already talked about, but it can help you lose weight. It can increase epinephrine and feelings of satisfaction and hopefulness. Whole, I can't say the word, but um, like a feeling of accomplishment and completedness in your day. So dogs give us the opportunity to do that. Not only do they give us the opportunity, they give us the excuse. I cannot emphasize enough how much easier it is to do exercise when you have a reason to do exercise than when you're just telling yourself you have to do exercise. So having a dog or, heck, even a cat that likes to go outside and wants to go outside, that can kind of draw you in that direction is invaluable to you if you're like me and there's just no motivation to do anything there. When I was in college, if I didn't have my dogs, I probably wouldn't have gone outside very much, to be honest. I mean, besides getting to and from class and things like that. My animals definitely made me a much more active person. Getting them the required exercise per day was something that I really had to work on because I had a pretty large dog, meaning that I needed to get her a sufficient amount of exercise per day, and that meant about 60 minutes of exercise per day, and that meant I had to go outside and do things. I couldn't just sit around in my room and read books or watch television shows or things like that. I had to actually put forth some effort to get her out and get her moving. Because nobody wants a fat dog, trust me. It makes life for them much harder. It makes life for you much harder. But yeah, dogs provide for us so many things, both tangible and intangible. The other thing that they provide is chances for social interaction. So a lot of times we don't always appreciate it. I know I don't. I take my dog out and in public, and everyone, including small children and other people, want to pet my dog. I take this for granted because I don't really want to spend time with people I don't know. But if you think about it, if you were trying to find new friends or you were in a new area and you wanted to meet new people, taking your dog out for a walk is probably one of the easiest ways to meet new people. Everyone, well, a lot of people, I won't say anyone, but a lot of people like dogs. They like petting dogs. And if you have a cute dog or even a downright ugly dog, someone is going to want to pet that dog. And that opens up a bridge of communication with that person. Easy peasy, you didn't have to do anything. Like, you just had to stand there with your dog. And all of a sudden, you may or may not have a new friend. Now, I do understand that you may not always want to talk to that person ever again, or talk to that person in that moment, but you have the option, and I think that's the point. Dogs also open up the ability... What the heck is going on? I'm gonna die here. For social interaction, even on the internet. So you post a cute picture of your dog or cat, and all of a sudden, Betty and Susie and Bob and Jake and John have all commented on your post. Now, you may not know any of these people, not personally, but if you wanted to start talking to them, you could. And it would all be because you posted a cute picture of your dog. So they definitely do open up an opportunity for social interaction that may not have been there before. I'm gonna die here. I need to get out of this cave really quick. Ah, jeez. We need to get to the middle of the ocean where these skeletons can't reach us. Sorry, pausing conversation here while I try not to die. I lost my shield and everything. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. Oh, jeez. Let's go. Ah! Calm down with your hatred, skeletons. Calm down. Just gonna go to this tiny little island for a second. And heal up. And also get a new shield. Look at how many arrows I have in my poor body. Oh my goodness. This is what I get for talking and exploring caves at the same time. I just wanted to waste the nighttime. But look at me. I'm a hot mess. I am not a porcupine. There's no reason for this many arrows. Ugh. Okay. Let's go ahead and craft ourselves a shield real quick. Because our last one is dead. Doesn't exist anymore. In case you're all wondering, I did write down the coordinates of my house before I set out today. So, ooh, there's a drone. So we will be able to find our way back. So me just wandering aimlessly around isn't really a big deal. But anyways, yeah, dogs and cats provide great opportunities for meeting other people, interacting with them in a positive way without you having to put forth too much effort, to be honest. All you have to do is put your dog on a leash, take him for a walk at the park. If there's other people at the park, be friendly, allow them to pet your dog. Your dog has now opened up a bridge of conversation with other people that you didn't even have to think about, worry about, do anything about. It's great. And if you have a cat on a leash, trust me, there's going to be even more people that want to talk to you about your cat on a leash at the park. I do think people tend to be a little bit disrespectful when it comes to pets' personal space at the park. But that's another conversation for another day, completely and utterly. That's about respect of personal space, training, socialization, all that stuff. So eventually I will talk to you guys about that probably because it's another area of interest for me, but it is neither here nor there on this episode. Just gonna do a little bit of running around and try to find... I don't know whether I should get in a boat. I feel like most of my land here is covered in water, unfortunately. That's the problem with having your first spawn right next to an ocean. Is that you don't know whether you're on a giant island or whether you're just on the edge of an ocean. What is this? Look, there's like dripstone in the middle of the ocean? What is that? Okay, I can't worry about that because it's going to make me die. I'm never going to be able to mine it fast enough. But we're just going to keep going this general direction because I'm going to skirt the edge of the ocean and see if I can find some goats. I just want 2 goats. I have enough leads for 4 goats, but I just want 2 goats. I don't know how to breed goats. I didn't look it up. This is going to be a common, probably repeated refrain. Look, there's llamas. Like naked llamas with no, stuff on them from wandering traders. Hi, guys. Tan llamas and white llamas. So where there are llamas, are there goats? I don't think so. I think you need to have even higher elevation. There's another cave. Very tempting, but we're going to ignore it for now. We might have to go to a different continent for us to find goats. Just going to run around here for a little bit longer and maybe try to use my telescope to see if we can find any evidence of goat friends so that we can take them home. If not, we'll probably try to cross the desert and see if we see anything on that side. So yeah, animals are the best. Their ability to adapt to most situations and living types, their ability to be taught and to learn specific skills, they're just top tier. I could wax all day about how awesome animals are and how good they are for the people that own them. Like, just the best. Animals are the best. Which kind of brings us to our next topic. Should everyone have a pet? Given what I just said about the benefits of owning a pet and, all the good things that come from having a pet and how, if you're a person who's suffering from, a little bit of depression or you need a little bit of motivation to get out or blah, 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 then yeah, you should get a pet, blah, 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 of course. You would think that, yeah, the answer would be yes for all of those things and for everything else too. But it's not. Not everyone should get a pet. First of all, there's a lot of responsibility that comes from owning a pet. And, under the fear of sounding like a true adult here, pets cost money. They also deserve a certain amount of, consideration and planning and thoughtfulness that goes into taking care of them and taking care of, their needs, wants, their health, and all of those things. So the first thing that, of course, limits pet ownership is money, like monetary constraints. What the heck is this? Guys, do you see this? This is the most disrespectful block in Minecraft, at least to physics. What is this? There's just this one block sitting out in the middle. I'm gonna leave it there. How do I get down from here? If I jump and I miss the water, I'm gonna die. So I'm gonna kind of scooch to the end of this first. Jump! Okay, perfect. We're gonna set up our bed and sleep for the night. So far we haven't had any luck in finding high enough elevations. This broken savanna or shattered savanna, it would have been cool to find a goat up there, but I just don't think it's cold enough. So we're going to keep running that way. We should run north, but we're just going to keep running in whatever direction this is. I don't actually know what direction it is. I actually changed my mind about setting up my bed. I really don't want to set up my bed. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I do want to set up my bed. Yeah, we'll set up a bed. I don't want to deal with any mobs tonight. If I can help it. I was thinking if I set up my bed and then I move it, but it should like take the last bed that I've been at. If I move the bed now, then if I die, it could be a problem, but I'm just gonna have to live with it. Why does this dirt look so weird? Oh, that's because it's coarse dirt. Well, I don't need that. I can make that at home. So basically, having worked as a vet tech for a while, I actually have a good idea of how much pet ownership costs. Because a lot of the things, when you talk about pet ownership, what you're talking about is vet bills. I'm not going to lie. There is the cost of like purchasing your pet, of course, if you're going to be buying a pet, which don't shop, adopt. But if you are going to be buying a pet, then there's a cost associated with that, of course. But that's dependent on the breed that you get or the type of dog that you get or who you get it from, whether you got a backyard dog for $500, which is, oh my God, why did you do that? Or whether you bought a Shih Tzu or something from somebody. Like that's gonna dictate that price. So there's no way I'm gonna be able to predict that price for you. Though I can say if you adopt, usually the adoption price is $100 or less. And sometimes if you're lucky, they waive it because of adoption, things. So if you're looking for a pet, please adopt. Don't buy. Don't support breeders. They're not always the greatest of people. And they contribute to overpopulation of pets. Just throwing that out there. Just being a little salty. But yeah, so the average cost of owning a pet as dictated by the United States and their survey on pet ownership as done in 2020 is they predict that, let's see here. I have it written down because I knew I was going to forget. They predict that, I lost it. Oh, here it is. They predict that the average family will spend about 1,201, a very specific number, of dollars on their pet annually. They also say that millennials and those generations after millennials are more likely to spend money on their pets. They are willing to spend upwards of $2,000 per year or $10,000 in the case of emergency on their pets, um, just to keep them happy and healthy and I guess assume not dead, because I don't know what kind of question you ask to get that information. Oh, there is something really cool over there, guys. Sorry. Spyglass is amazing. That's what I've been using this whole time to kind of zoom around and look at things. It's made with the new amethyst crystals, and I made one the last time I was on here, just kind of fooling around. But anyways, so if you don't have an extra $1,200 a year to spend on your pet, um, maybe you can't afford one. And let me emphasize something. It is okay that you cannot afford a pet. It is not okay for you to get 1, 2, 3, 5 dogs and not be able to afford those dogs. That's 100% not okay. There is no wiggle room. I'm going to leave that there. We may talk about it a little bit later, but in my eye, if you do not have the money for a pet, one pet, you shouldn't have 5 pets. End of story. Do you see what I see? Look what we found. It's not what we were looking for, but we found, I think it's like a mesa. I think that's what this is called. I've only ever found a mesa one time in survival mode. Once. And here I am with one. Like, not too far away from my house either. Like, 2 days journey from my house. That's ridiculous. Like, just absolutely crazy. Bloop. And we can just mine. I know. We can just mine terracotta from here to make glazed terracotta and do just about anything we want. And then this is red sand. So that's not as interesting as the terracotta, but it is still interesting. Anyways, I'm going to write down these coordinates real quick. Okay, so here we get into our other little piece of housekeeping. Some of the feedback that I got on my past videos was that the sped up sections of the video were a little too fast, and it made it very unpleasant to watch. So I have slowed those down quite a bit, and I sped through this portion because oh my gosh, mesas are hard to get through. It's just straight up and straight down for as far as the eye can see. So it wound up being really long and dragged out. I think it wound up taking, I don't know, close to 30 minutes just to get through this small portion. So instead, I'm going to speed it up and I'll just talk to you about what I was talking about in this section as far as the regular video. Basically, I was just going over the prices of owning a dog that's over the age of 1 and under the age of 6. So that's very specific because I didn't take into account the cost of owning a puppy. There are new puppy costs that are much more expensive than owning a medium-aged dog. And also, any dog over the age of 7 is considered a senior dog, so it's going to have more costs than a puppy would. So when we're talking about the costs of pet ownership, each year it's estimated that someone spends $1,201 on their pet. Millennials and generations after that are more likely to spend more on their pets, upwards of $10,000 in the case of emergency or $2,000 in the case of every year stuff. It's about $80 for a regular veterinary visit, meaning just the exam. A lot of people don't understand why they're paying this much for their pet, but it's truly important that you get a physical exam by a well-reputed doctor every year for your pet to try to catch any issues before they become a major problem and keep your pet up to date on shots and preventions and those kinds of things. What you're paying for in that is not just for the doctor to look at your pet. You're paying for 8 years of veterinary school and college and experience, however long they've been in the veterinary world. You're also paying for them to keep their clinic open, pay their employees, and all those kinds of things. Where you live makes a big difference on how much you pay for veterinary care. The more expensive the place is, the more expensive the veterinary care is. That's just kind of how the world works. So about $80 a year is being spent in veterinary care as far as the exam goes. Shots are going to run anywhere from, $50 to $70 depending on where you are and what shots you get. If you just get rabies and distemper combo shot, then you're looking at $50. If you need to get another shot, you're looking at, $70 to $80. Flea meds, flea and tick medications, heartworm medications, and preventions. Those are a pretty hefty price tag. They're probably one of the more expensive things that you pay for your dog per year, and they can run anywhere from $250 to $350 a year, depending on the size of your dog. But they're very important. They help prevent a lot of other ailments that cause your dog to have to go to the vet more often, like allergies to fleas or heartworm disease, which costs thousands of dollars to treat, and your pet can die from. So it's very important that you get those things done. Toys and enrichment. So I kind of lumped all this together. Toys and enrichment and for your dog cost maybe $80 to $90 a year. That includes leashes, collars, bowls, those kinds of things. They last a pretty long time, so they're not like a reoccurring cost, but they are important. The last thing to consider when talking about cost is, of course, food, which is going to cost upwards of $500, $600 per year. My total cost wound up being $1,116. The other thing I talked about is basically my opinions on who should and shouldn't own a pet, as far as who's going to be able to care for one and, the responsibility that comes with owning a pet. So I went in to explain that if you're going to be getting a pet just for what that pet does for you, and you're not going to be taking into account what that pet needs, you probably should not own a pet. There are things that pets need, including a house or some place to house them, either a fenced-in yard and their own type of shelter, or they need to be allowed into a house, those kinds of things. And also, you need to be mentally capable of dealing with the responsibility of owning a pet. Sometimes pets help with this, but if you're someone who is not responsible or who is going to be forgetting a pet or their needs, then maybe a pet isn't for you if you live by yourself. I'm not saying that people who have a pet and become homeless can't have a pet, and I'm not saying that people who have mental disorders or mental dysfunction cannot own a pet. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that if it's going to be detrimental to the animal's health or well-being, then maybe that person shouldn't own a pet. But that's basically what I talked about during this speed up. We're gonna take a boat, guys. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of climbing up giant mountains. The most ridiculous thing I've ever had to do. We'll come explore this whole mesa later, but boy, am I having a horrible time. Boat, boat, boat. Just gonna kind of swim around this. I'm gonna drop these because I don't actually need them. So now that we've gone over my very highly opinionated opinions on who can and can't have an animal, let's go into an even more serious topic. This is a heavy episode, guys. Get your backpacks out. It's going to be easier to carry. We're going to talk about shelters a little bit and, animals that don't necessarily have homes. So it is estimated in the United States that where is it? That more than 6 million pets enter shelters annually. 6 million. That's a hell of a lot of animals. And these animals, when we think about them, not all of them get homes. Although that's kind of like the shelter's main thing, is to find them a home. Unfortunately, not all of them do. So it is also estimated, though I don't understand how this is an estimate, it is estimated that 1.5 million of those animals per year will be euthanized. That is 25% of all animals that enter a shelter, 1 in 4, will be euthanized. And a lot of times we like to think that these animals are the oldest of the animals, the sickest of the animals, the ones that weren't going to get homes anyways. You know, aggressive animals only, animals that have problems that can't be fixed, all of those are going to be the ones that get euthanized first. And that's not always the case. Actually, a lot of times that's not the case. That is what we like to believe, what we like to tell ourselves, and what the shelter likes to tell people, but it's not true. It might be 50% of those animals are those type, but a lot of times it comes down to just overpopulation. Shelters can't keep up with the number of animals that are coming in, so the animals that have been there the longest are the ones that get euthanized, or the ones that are going to take the most time to handle are going to be euthanized. So puppies and kittens under a certain age, those are going to be euthanized. Yes, old dogs are going to be euthanized. Dogs that have been at the shelter for a little bit, even if they're a 4-year-old, perfectly healthy dog, if it's been at the shelter for more than a few months, it's on the list. High population shelters in large cities, it doesn't even have to be a few months. It can be a few weeks. Low income shelters in rural areas, a few weeks. These are the real things that happen. It's not necessarily the rules that we think that should be followed are being followed. In your mind, you think that only certain animals get euthanized, and it's not true. Any animal at any time, if they're in a shelter or they're on the street, can be euthanized. So when I say adopt, don't shop, I'm saying it because I've seen animals that deserve loving homes. Almost all animals deserve loving homes. I'm not even going to pull any punches there. But animals that are very deserving of loving homes that would have had very long, happy lives. Wait one second. Let's pause our very serious conversation to ask, why is there a bunch of sea kelp just floating here? Oh, I know. My boat's gonna sink. There's some, like, magma or something there. But very deserving animals that deserve to live long, healthy, happy lives aren't going to be because they're stuck in shelters. And the longer they're in a shelter, the more likely they're going to get put down. And when you support breeders, you are perpetuating a system that allows for overpopulation of animals and increases the number of animals that are in shelters. There is no such thing as like the perfectly bred animal. A lot of times when you have animals that have been bred by a breeder, they're not genetically better than a dog that you get from the shelter. And a lot of times the exact opposite is true. Animals that are from a breeder have been inbred or bred along specific lines for long enough that their genetics have been degraded, so they're actually less healthy than an animal that you would get from a shelter. And you're not guaranteed, even if you get a puppy, let's say you go and get a puppy from a breeder, if you don't do the work necessary to train that dog and socialize it and, make it a good dog, you're not guaranteed a good dog from a breeder. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are afraid of getting a dog from a shelter and it coming with problems or issues. Let me tell you, working in the vet industry, you have puppies that come from breeders that have parvo, that have weird genetic disorders, that have distemper, that have all of these things. And, well, they came from a reputable breeder. That means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. What matters is when you get a dog, you take it to your vet. a reputable vet, and you have them check it out. And they'll let you know as within their best abilities whether or not that pet is sick or not. Until you do that, there's no guarantee one way or another whether that pet is healthy or not. And then if you don't do your job and keep your pet taken care of, i.e., going to the vet, keeping them up to date on vaccines and preventions, then you're opening up doors for those pets to have further issues down the road that have nothing to do with their breeding. But they're going to happen. So the fear of adopting a pet, I think, is highly unfounded. And there should be more fear of purchasing a pet than there is. Not only that, but if you're not doing any research on your pet or your breeder, and you're just getting a purebred dog because you like the sound of it, chances are you're not looking into the breeder to see whether they're doing a good job with their breeding or anything. And you might be getting your pet from a system of puppy mills. And these are just people that are breeding dogs over and over and over again with no concern for the dog's health or for the puppy's health. They're shipping the dogs over long distances to other people who then sell it to you with their little Facebook pages. You're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for a dog that has been bred in horrible conditions and may or may not be in horrible shape. So yeah, you need to do a lot of research into getting a dog or cat. Well, yes, you can buy purebred cats. I know a lot of people don't realize this, but there is a market for purebred cats as well. You need to do a lot of research before you adopt a pet or buy a pet. And I would suggest doing some research and adopting a pet instead. There are plenty of shelters out there that, they offer programs that if you don't want to pay the adoption fee, if you go during an adoption event, you don't even have to pay anything for that pet. Not only that, but most of them come with at least a rabies shot, and, they've been spayed or neutered, which is more than you can say for pets you buy. Pets you buy come with nothing. They're supposed to come with a health certificate, but a lot of them don't. And that health certificate includes the Bordetella and maybe the first distemper if you're lucky. If you're lucky. If you're not lucky, it comes with nothing. Or they don't have one. So yeah, just be conscientious about, your pets and where you're getting them from and what impact you're having on those 70 million pets that are homeless every single year. Well, Ripa, what if they're homeless? Why do you put so many limitations on who can own a pet? Because I don't think that I think every pet deserves a home, but I don't think every home deserves a pet. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think that everyone deserves a pet, and I'm never going to take that statement back. There's people that don't deserve animals, whether because they're just downright nasty people or whether at this point in their life they cannot handle one. And that's okay. Not everyone needs them, just like not everyone needs a kid. But again, that's a topic for another time. But anyways, I'm going to keep searching for this goat. And if I find one, I'll come back because this is taking a really, really long time. So we're currently on day 2 of trying to find a goat, and we're just going to set out in a different direction this time and try to see if we can find one. Hopefully we are able to find a goat this time. And this is going to be like the last 5 minutes of the episode because I'm literally going to just hop around and try to find one. So yeah, let's get started. How come I can't get out? Oh, thank goodness. It looks like all of my stuff is still here. And I'm panicking, so I'm running into the boat. But hey, look. This isn't everything, but the important thing is that the leads are here. And if this stuff is up here, that means that there's probably still stuff left in the boat. Great, perfect. Now, all I gotta do is not die while I collect my stuff. Wait, 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 wait. Wait, wait, wait. 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 Where'd you go? Look it! Look it, look it, look it, look it, look it, look it! We finally found some goats! Come here, you crazy things. Easy to find my butt. Come here. There's you. And I'm taking 4. I don't care if it depletes the population or not. I'm taking 4 of you guys. So hopefully one of you makes it home. 2 of you. I need 2 of you to make it home. Where'd the... There's more of you somewhere. Come on, guys. You're goats. You can make it. You. And there's got to be one more of you. Where's another one? I can't believe I found them. Oh, you guys are incredibly hard to find. Come here. We're going home. Let's go. Ow. So I'm pretty sure the house is just over this ridge here. Jeez Louise. Come on. Jump. You're goats. You can do it. Right over there should be our house. I'm pretty sure I can see our wheat, I mean. We're gonna park these guys over here. Okay, now that we know where we are, we can get rid of those. Come on, goats. I almost called you sheep for like the 80th time. You know what? I think I'm gonna put you right up here. Closest thing I have to a mountain anyways. Come on. There's 2 of you. Where'd the other 2 get lost? This has been this whole journey, by the way. Just trying to find out where I dropped a frickin' goat. Come on. You guys are gonna live up here. Crap. Where's the other one? Dupe. And now dupe. Okay. I lost you again somehow. Well, here's your lead. They're trying to jump away, all of them. Okay, we did it. Okay, guys, look. 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 We have goats. I keep wanting to call them sheep, but they're definitely not sheep. Sheep are so easy to find compared to these guys. I had to go to the ends of the world to find them. Like yesterday, I went out almost 7,000 blocks, and today I had to go out an additional, I think, 8,000 or something blocks just to find them, and it took a god-awful amount of time. So we finally have them, which is great. I will put a fence around them, but this is, this is where they're going to live, up here on top of here. I'm going to clear it out a little bit more, and pretty much all of our animals are probably going to live up here. Not in with the goats, though, because boy, are they horrible at ramming you. Every time they fell off a lead, there was a chance that I got hit, and I did not appreciate it. So that'll be it for this week's episode. We did not find an axolotl, but we will try to do that next time. But yeah, that's it. Bye.